According to her ex-husband Nathan Griffith, teen mother Jenelle Evans just left her two youngest children in Las Vegas with a babysitter for 3 whole weeks. The father of Janelle's middle kid said in an on-camera interview with the U.S. Sun that the former Teen Mom 2 star left Kaiser, 10, and Ensley, 8, alone with caregivers for many weeks while she was in North Carolina across the nation. "I know she was out and about for almost 3 weeks, while Kaiser was jumping around with babysitters," Nathan said. "One time, he was playing out in the streets and somebody had to get him." Nathan read aloud a recent text message he sent to Jenelle, in which he accused her directly of leaving Kaiser alone for nearly 3 weeks unattended with babysitters. This was part of another explosive segment of the interview. According to a different source, Jenelle left the smaller children in Sin City and traveled to North Carolina with her oldest son, 15-year-old Jace. Kaiser and Ensley were observed playing by themselves for hours outside their mother's home on several weekdays in late September, as previously reported by the U.S. Sun. At the time, an eyewitness reported that they appeared to be riding around the blocks and going to a neighbor's home and coming back. The latest call for comment from the U.S. Sun was answered by Jenelle and her manager-turned-boyfriend August Keene. "Yeah, I would love to comment on that because I had a babysitter for a little bit because I went to North Carolina for court and I had to get my stuff and then I had to drive it back across the country," she told the U.S. Sun. "People get nannies and babysitters all the time," August added. During his interview, Nathan continued, "I think there's a lot of things that I don't know, and I cannot make comment on it because I'm not in the house. Kaiser told me, however, and I am aware of it. I am aware of the cruelty and neglect he endures, yet I am powerless to stop it. My expectation is what's going to probably have to happen is another family court case because she's already threatening my mom, threatening me about custody and all this stuff." Other shocking allegations Nathan made about his ex-fiancée were earlier made public by the U.S. Sun. These included the allegations that her 3 children were exposed to narcotics in her home and that her soon-to-be ex-husband, 36-year-old David Eason, became violent with Kaiser. Nathan, who claims to have been sober for more than 130 days, stated that he believes Kaiser is frequently held accountable for the alleged abuse of his younger sister by his elder brother Jace. The father of 2 recounted that Kaiser got the living crap beat out of him for it after his son told him about an incident in which Jace allegedly hurled a rock that struck Ensley in the head. The former MTV reality star stated that Kaiser's stepfather would become particularly enraged over anything involving Jenelle and David's daughter Ensley. His middle brother proceeded to pinch his younger sister's back after she was messing with him and hitting him and pinching him, according to a narrative Kaiser told him. Although he was informed that Ensley was not in difficulty, the 37-year-old said that David had pinched Kaiser as hard as he could and made him bleed on the arm. According to Nathan, the incident left the tween with a scar on his shoulder. It was also astonishingly stated by the former MTV star that the 10-year-old said his stepfather had punched him in the face several times. For an altercation with Jace last fall, David is currently facing felony charges of assault by strangulation. The soon-to-be ex of Jenelle has never publicly or directly refuted any claims of abuse. Jenelle denied ever witnessing any of the assault allegations made against her estranged husband, although she and August did not refute all of them. Nathan initially voiced his worries about Kaiser's welfare after Jenelle had abruptly changed her mind and expelled him from his new school 3 days after he had started, moving the adolescent to live with his grandmother Doris Davidson in Tennessee earlier this month. Jenelle was making the right decision to relocate Kaiser to Tennessee to live with Doris, according to the father of 2. According to him, Kaiser was in a sticky situation while being looked after by the 32-year-old. "My son has already edited out for privacy. He already vapes. He's already edited out for privacy. He's already done edited out for privacy. And he's 10 years old," Nathan had previously said. He added that Child Protective Services ought to be considering the accusations carefully before claiming Kaiser informed him that he had been involved in a vaping incident at school. Jenelle disputed to the U.S. Sun that Kaiser was caught vaping at school and that she has drugs in her house. Over the years, Nathan has been frustrated with Child Protective Services in Jenelle's home. "In certain cases, I wish the state, CPS, the legal system, or anything else would genuinely consider the facts or the inquiry and treat it seriously." In his opinion, CPS only digs down so deep, he continued, adding that now, 8 years later, the kids are getting in trouble for using drugs. According to reports at the time, CPS was involved in Janelle's home in 2017 when Doris was battling for custody of Kaiser. After Kaiser, Ensley and David shot and killed their French bulldog, Nugget, in 2019, Janelle temporarily withdrew their 17-year-old daughter Marissa from their house. The world of Teen Mom thrives on drama, and Jenelle Evans has always been one of its most polarizing figures. From her turbulent relationships to her frequent battles with critics, she's no stranger to controversy. But this time, the headlines hit closer to home, and harder than ever. Jenelle Evans left her kids for Vegas. Read the latest tabloid splash. The claims came from her ex-fiancé Nathan Griffith, who alleged that Jenelle had left her two youngest children, Kaiser and Ensley, with a babysitter for 3 weeks while she partied in Las Vegas. Fans erupted online. Some defended Jenelle, citing the pressures of motherhood and the need for a break. Others condemned her outright, accusing her of neglect. 3 weeks in Vegas? While her kids are home. That's next-level selfish, one Twitter user posted. Another wrote, "Nathan's just stirring the pot again." We don't even know if it's true. Jenelle predictably stayed silent, at least for now. Nathan Griffith, never one to shy away from the spotlight, took to Instagram Live to elaborate on his accusations. "I'm just trying to be a good dad," he said, his voice heavy with frustration. "I don't care what Jenelle does with her life, but when it affects Kaiser, that's where I draw the line." He claimed that Kaiser had confided in him during a recent visit, saying he felt abandoned. Nathan described calling the babysitter, who allegedly admitted to being overwhelmed by the extended stay. 3 weeks, Nathan repeated, shaking his head. That's not a break. That's running away. Jenelle's fans immediately questioned his motives, pointing out his history of airing grievances in public. But his claims couldn't be ignored entirely, and the media latched onto the story like wildfire. After days of mounting pressure, Jenelle finally broke her silence with a fiery Instagram post. "People will believe anything these days," she wrote, alongside a photo of her and her kids smiling on the beach. "I've been with my kids every single day. Don't believe the lies." She also shared a series of Instagram stories showing her children playing in the backyard, seemingly happy and carefree. But the post raised more questions than it answered. Critics pointed out that photos could be staged and that her timeline didn't add up. As the story gained traction, fans and journalists alike began piecing together clues. Social media detectives scoured Jenelle's Instagram for any sign of a Vegas trip. Sure enough, there were pictures, cocktails, poolside lounges, and casino snapshots, all geotagged in Las Vegas. A paparazzi photo leaked soon after, showing Jenelle at a nightclub with friends during the alleged time frame. The internet exploded. "She lied straight to our faces," one Reddit thread proclaimed. Meanwhile, Nathan continued to fan the flames. In an exclusive interview with a tabloid, he doubled down on his claims, revealing text messages purportedly from the babysitter. "She was overwhelmed," Nathan said. "She told me she wasn't even sure when Jenelle was coming back." The fallout wasn't limited to the internet. Jenelle's mother, Barbara, weighed in during an impromptu TMZ interview. "I love Jenelle, but she's got to get her priorities straight," Barbara said, shaking her head. "The kids need stability. They don't deserve this." Barbara's comments added fuel to the fire, and soon, fans were calling for Child Protective Services to investigate. Amid the chaos, Jenelle's husband, David Eason, took to Facebook to defend her. "This is all lies made up by people who can't stand to see Jenelle happy," he wrote. "Our family is strong, and we'll get through this." But even his staunch defense couldn't stem the tide of criticism. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Jenelle sat down for an exclusive interview with a YouTube creator known for covering teen mom drama. "I made mistakes," she admitted, her voice cracking. "But the narrative that I abandoned my kids? That's not true." Jenelle explained that the Vegas trip had been a last-minute decision to recharge after a stressful year. She insisted the children were in good hands with a trusted babysitter and that she'd stayed in constant contact. "I was never out of reach," she said. "People act like I just disappeared. That's not what happened." The interview painted a more nuanced picture, but for many fans, it was too little, too late. The controversy eventually died down, as all teen mom dramas do, but its impact lingered. Jenelle faced ongoing scrutiny, with fans questioning her every move. Nathan, emboldened by the attention, continued to push for more custody of Kaiser. For Jenelle, the ordeal was a harsh reminder of the cost of fame. But it also reinforced her resolve to protect her family from the prying eyes of the public. "People will always have opinions," she said in a later Instagram post. "But at the end of the day, I know my truth, and so do my kids." While the Vegas allegations may have faded from the headlines, they left a lasting mark on the teen mom legacy. For better or worse, Jenelle remained a lightning rod for controversy, a symbol of the messy, complicated reality of motherhood in the public eye. Her story, like the show itself, was far from over.